time is 2 hours with marks over 150. Okay, great tools. So now, moving on to the next page, we have instructions and information. So now, always bear in mind that following of instructions is part of the examination. So now, let's quickly go through the given set of instructions. So read the following instructions carefully before you answering the questions. So now, instruction number 1, this question paper consists of 3 sections and covers 2 main topics. So now we have section A, which is compulsory. You have section B, that consists of 3 questions, and expectation is to answer only 2 questions. So now we also have section C, of which this section consists of 2 questions in the same manner, and the expectation is to answer or attempt only 1 question. Okay, right. So now moving on to the next instruction, read the instructions for each question carefully and take note of what is required. Note that only the answers to the first 2 questions selected in section B and the answer to the first question selected in section C will be marked. So now, instruction number 3, number the answers correctly according to the numbering system used in this question paper. So also no marks will be awarded or allocated for answers that are numbered incorrectly. Okay, right, great talks. So now the next instruction reads as follows. Except where other instructions are given, answers must be written in full sentences. So now the next one, which is instruction number 5, use the mark allocation and nature of each question. Nature of each instructions are given and must be written in the full sentences. Okay, right. So now, also we have what we have instruction 6, where we have sections given. Section A, which is question 1, 30 marks, and you're expected to spend 20 minutes. And then section B, we have what we have 3 questions, and you're expected to select 2 questions, of which 1 question carries 40 marks. So 2 of them are going to carry 80 marks. Then you're expected to spend 70 minutes. And last section, we have section C, where you're supposed to select only 1 question consists of 40 marks, and expectation is to spend 30 minutes. Okay, right. So now instruction number 7 reads as follows. Begin the answer to each question on a new page. So now most of you guys, what I've seen, grade 12s, you fail to follow this particular instruction where you fail to start or commence each and every question on a new page. Okay. Instruction number 8, you may use non-programmable calculator. And then the last one, write neatly and legibly. Okay, right, great talks. So now let's jump on to answering the questions. So now we have section A. So now section A, remember, it is compulsory. So now 1.1, we are now on question 1. So now 1.1 reads as follows. Various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the answer and write only letter A to D next to the question numbers 1.1.1 to 1.1.5 in the answer book. An example is given where 1.1.6, you only select a letter D. Okay, right, great talks. So now 1.1.1 reads as follows. Thundereduc manages systems and procedures to ensure the completion of tasks. So this statement refers to management. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be management. Okay, so now moving on to next question, we have 1.1.2. Ronell considered dash as a vector in her investment decisions, assessing the ease and the speed of at which her investment could be converted to cash. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be C, which is liquidity. Okay, right. So now moving on to the next question. The next question we have 1.3. So 1.1.3 reads as follows. This principle of insurance is applicable to short-term insurance. So now this is indemnification. So our appropriate answer in this regard is going to be A. Okay, right. So now moving on to next question, we have 1.1.4. An obligation to work towards improving the welfare of society is known as social responsibility, which is C as the appropriate answer. Okay, right. So now moving on, grade 12, we have 1.1.5 that reads as follows. A senior manager considers existing alternatives and decides on the best solution. This is known as decision making. Okay, right, grade 12. So now we are done with section A. We are done with our question 1.1. So now let's move on to 1.2, still under the same section. Okay, right. So now 1.2 reads as follows. Complete the following statements by using the words provided in the list below. Write only the words next to the question numbers 1.2.1 to 1.2.5 in the answer book. So now inside the grid, we're given private, nominal posters, privacy, storming people, information planning, personal liability, as well as flyers. So now 1.2.1 reads as follows. The directors of a dash company are jointly and severally liable for all the debts of the company. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be personal liability. Personal liability. Okay, right, grade 12. So now let's move on to the next question. And the next question reads as follows. So now 1.2.2, Sinandi Traders uses Dash as one of the visual aids to promote the vision of the business, or the vision of the business. So now the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be a poster. Poster. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is 1.2.3. Jahan, manufacturers invest in sustainable community programs. So this is known as a dash element of the triple bottom line. So the appropriate answer in this regard is going to be people. People. Okay, right, grade 12. So now let's move on to 1.2.4. Ashwin, a manager at Delta Manufacturers, violated one of his employees' right to dash when he disclosed her personal problems without her permission. This is nothing but privacy. Privacy? Okay, right. So now let's check 1.2.5. So 1.2.5 reads as follows. Team members come to an agreement and reach a consensus during the dash stage of team development, and this stage is a norming stage. This is norming. This is a norming stage. Okay, grade 12. So now let's move on to the next question, which is 1.3. So now 1.3 reads as follows. Choose a description from column B that matches a term in column A. So write only the letter A to J next to the question numbers 1.3.1 to 1.3.5, in which in the answer book, an example is given there where you expected only to select a letter, not to write the whole description or the whole features. Okay, right. So now column A, we have multimedia presentation, we have fixed deposit, we have cooperatives, we have diversity, we have complainer. So now in column B, we are given a set of descriptions, functions, characteristics, and the likes. So you should be in the position to understand and grade a bigger picture before you can actually jump onto answers. Okay, right. So now let's check 1.3.1. 1.3.1, we're supposed to check any description or function or characteristics or impact that is associated with multimedia presentation. So now if we check, we have add special effects to make the content interesting for the audience. So it means that now our appropriate answer is going to be I, where it says add special effects to make the content interesting for the audience. So in this regard, our appropriate answer is going to be I. Okay, right, grade 12s. Let's move on to 1.3.2, where we have fixed deposit. So now fixed deposit is in line with the interest. So interest is guaranteed regardless of the changes in economic climate. So it means that in this regard, our appropriate answer for this 1.3.2 is going to be E. Okay, right, grade 12s. Now let's move on to 1.3.3. So now where we have cooperatives. So now cooperatives, we check the profits. The profits are actually shared equally among members. So now in this regard, our appropriate answer is going to be J. Okay, right. So now let's check diversity. So now for diversity, we check businesses employ people from various cultural backgrounds. So now it means in this regard, our appropriate answer is going to be A. Okay, right. So now let's check 1.3.5. We have a complainer. So now a complainer, in this regard, you must always listen to his criticism without acknowledging him. So it means that our appropriate answer in this regard is going to be a B. Okay, right, grade 12s. Now we are done with our section A. So let's quickly move on to section B. So now moving on to section B, we are going to start with question 2. Okay, right. So now we have section B, where you're actually given the guidelines to say answer any 2 questions in this section. So now note, clearly indicate the question number of each question that you choose. Then the answer to each question must start on a new page. So now, e.g., or an example, we have question 2 on a new page, question 3 on a new page, question 4, 5 on a new page, and the likes. Okay, right. So now, Kritovs, so now let's check our question 2, how it does appear. So now question 2 is in line with business ventures. So now 2.1 reads as follows. Name any 3 examples of short-term insurance. So now 3 examples of short-term insurance. It includes the likes of property insurance, fire, money in transit, theft, and burglar. So now you're saying that burglary or burglar. So now we are saying that this include. You're saying that it does include the what? It does include the theft. Saying that include theft. Also include fire. And also, it does include burglary. And it's not limited to that. It also includes money in transit, also property insurance. Okay, right. So now let's check 2.2. Outline the functions of the Johannesburg Security Exchange. So now one of the functions of this Johannesburg Security Exchange is to provide protection for investors, and another one raises primary capital, and the last one encourages a short-term investment. So now we're saying that one of the examples that we have, we're saying that provides protection for investors. Provides protection for investors. Also, we are saying that raises primary capital. Primary capital. And lastly, we said that it does encourages short-term investment. Short-term investments. Okay, right, grade 12. So now we have 6 marks. So we have 2 marks for the first point, 2 marks for the second point, and also 2 marks for the third point. Okay, right. So now let's check 2.3. So 2.3 reads as follows. Identify the insurance concepts applicable to pet insurers in each statement below. So now if you check the statement below, we have 2.3.1 where it says pet insurers decided to replace damaged assets instead of reimbursing John, the insured. So now this is reinstatement. This is reinstatement. Okay, right, grade 12. Then let's check 2.3.2. It reads as follows. John agreed to pay a certain amount of money upfront when he took out an insurance policy for his business property. So now this is an example of insurance. Over insurance. Okay, right. So now let's check out 2.4. So 2.4 reads as follows. Explain the advantages of using a PowerPoint, a presentation, or data projector as a visual aid. Okay, right. So now visual aid, this PowerPoint, it is very, very easy to combine with sound and video clips. Also, simple clustered slides may capture the interest of the audience, and also video clips can provide variety and enhance visibility. Okay, we're saying that easy to combine with sound or video clips. So now also we are saying that it is simple plus that slides may capture the interest of the audience, Okay, right. So now also we said that video clips can provide variety and enhance visibility. Okay, right. So now we're saying that easy to combine with a sound or video clips, and also simple clustered slide. Simple clustered slide may capture the interest of the audience. And also we're saying that video clips can provide variety and enhance visibility. Okay, grade 12. So now let's move on to 2.5. So now 2.5 reads as follows. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So Tapelo Suppliers. Tapelo Suppliers is known for selling quality raw materials to various manufacturers. Thandi, a manager at Tapelo Suppliers, appointed suitable people in the right positions to complete tasks successfully. So now she also understands the importance of personal attitude in effective leadership. Okay, right. So now let's check how the questions normally appear. Okay, so now it means that now we have landed on 2.5.1, where it says identify the leadership theory used by Tandy and then modify your answer by quoting from the scenario. Remember, whenever the question says code, so the expectation is to take a sentence exactly the way it does appear on the given set of scenario. You are not expected to take out anything. You are not expected to add anything. So you just take the sentence exactly the way it appears on the scenario. So now we have sentence 1, where we are saying Tapelo Suppliers is known for selling quality raw materials to various manufacturers. And then we have also sentence 2. So sentence 2 says Tandy manager at Tapelo Suppliers appointed suitable people in the right positions to complete tasks successful. So then we have what? We have sentence 3, where it says she also understands the importance of personal attitude in effective leadership. So now, if you remember grade 12, you write when it says modified and code, you write the full sentence exactly the way it does appear. So now our leadership style that is actually being given here is situational leadership. Employees right to dash when it is closed her personal problems without her permission. This is nothing but privacy. Privacy? Okay, right. So now let's check 1.2.5. So 1.2.5 reads as follows. Team members come to an agreement and reach a consensus during the dash stage of team development. And this stage is a norming stage. This is norming. Tandy, a manager at Tapelo Suppliers, appointed suitable people in the role of personal attitude in successful leadership. So now personal attitude always have positive attitude, which releases leadership potential. And also enthusiasm produces confidence in a leader. And also leader's attitude may influence the success or the failure of the business. I'll come again. So it's saying that positive attitude releases leadership potential, and we're also saying that enthusiasm produces confidence in a leader. And also, or lastly, leader's attitude may influence the success or the failure of the business. Okay, right. So now saying that positive attitude releases leadership potential. Releases leadership potential. Okay, right. So now we are also saying that enthusiasm produces in a leader. Okay, right. Also, he said that leaders' attitude may influence the success or failure of the business. Leaders' attitude may influence the success or failure of a business. Okay, leaders' attitude may influence the success or failure of a business. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 2.2. 6. It goes or reads as follows. Discuss any two types of benefits paid out by the unemployment insurance fund. So now the benefits are that we have illness benefits as well as maternity benefits. So now illness benefits is when an employee is temporarily ill and can still get paid their salaries or wages. And also under the maternity benefits is when an employee is going to give birth but can still get their salaries or wages. Okay, right. We are saying that illness benefit. Illness benefit. So under illness benefit, we're saying that when an employee is temporarily ill and can still get paid. When an employee is temporarily ill and can still get paid. So now we're also saying that we have maternity benefit. Under maternity benefit, we said that when an employee is going to give birth but can still get paid. When an employee is going to give birth, but still get paid. Okay, so it means that in this regard, we have these two benefits as examples of insurance, unemployment insurance fund. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 2.7. So now 2.7 reads as follows. Advise presenters on areas for improvement in their next presentation. So now what they should actually do is to revise objectives that were not achieved and also use humor appropriately and also always be prepared to update the information relevant. Okay, right? You're saying that use humor appropriately also revise objectives that were not achieved, Okay, right. So now also always be prepared. Also always be prepared. Always be prepared to update the information that is relevant. Okay, right. So now we're saying that as a presenter, use humor appropriately, revise objectives that were not met. Revise the objectives that were not met, and also always be prepared to update the information relevant. Okay, right. Great talks. So now we are done with our question 2. Let's quickly jump on to question 3. So now question 3 it's a it's all about a business roles, all about business responsibilities or duties. So okay, right, great talks. So now let's check what this any two types of unethical business practices. So now the two types of unethical business practices that we can put on a table for discussion is in line with unfair advertising and tax evasion. So you're saying that here we have unfair advertising, and tax evasion. Okay, right, great talks. So now let's move on to 3.2. So 3.2 reads as follows: outline the correct procedure to deal with grievances in the workplace. To deal with grievances in the workplace, you shouldn't insult anyone in the workplace. Know the proper procedures that should always be followed. Don't apply emotions on your grievance. Okay. What you can and also pay attention to your emotions and how they influence you, and also listen, reflect, and also inquire as you express your concerns in an organization. Okay, right. So now we're saying that make sure that conscientiously decide how to respond to conflict situations, and also saying that pay attention to your emotions, and how they influence you as someone who is having grievances. Okay, also he's saying that listen, then reflect, then inquire, as you express your concerns, in a non-confrontational way. In a non-confrontational way. Okay, so now we're saying that in order for you to brief out your grievances, you should always conscientiously decide how to respond to conflict situation, and also pay attention to your emotions and how they influence you. Also listen, reflect, and inquire as you express your concerns in a non-confrontational way or non-confrontational manner. Okay, right, great talks. So now let's move on to 3.3. It reads as follows: Identify the diversity issues addressed by pillar enterprises in each statement below. So 3.3.1 reads as follows. The management of pillar enterprises ensures that Peter and Jane are treated equally in the workplace. So now this is an indication of what equity, because everyone is treated in a in an equal manner. Okay, right. So now let's check 3.2. It reads as follows. They offer subsidized meals and canteen facilities on their premises. So now this is nothing but poverty. So now this is poverty. Okay, right. So now let's check 3.4. 3.4 reads as follows. Explain how businesses can apply accountability as a king code principle for good corporate governance. Remember, this is in line with ethics and professionalism. So now, in short, there must be regular communication between management and stakeholders. And also, businesses should be accountable for their actions. And also, the board should ensure that the company's ethics are effectively implemented. You're saying that there must be regular communication regular communication between management and stakeholders, between management and stakeholders. Okay, right. So now also we are saying that businesses should be accountable for their actions. Businesses should be accountable for their actions. Okay. Lastly, we are saying that the board should ensure that the board should ensure that the company ethics are effectively implemented. Okay, so now we are saying that for accountability, there must be a regular communication between management and the stakeholders. And also, we are saying that businesses should be accountable for their actions. And also, we are saying that the last point, the board should ensure that the company ethics are effectively implemented. So now we gave 3 points in this regard. It means that you have 6 marks. Okay, right. So now let's move on to question 3.5. So now question 3.5 reads as follow. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. So now 3.5 scenario reads as follow. BOA Communications, which is BC. So BOA Communications has a workforce consisting of some difficult employees. So now the management of BC speaks to these employees privately to avoid distracting other employees. So they also listen to difficult employees but do not agree with them. So now BOA Communications provides guidelines on how employees can improve their behavior. Okay, right. So now, if you actually check, we have what we have sentence 1, where we have real communication as a workforce consisting of some difficult employees, and the second sentence we have sentence 2, where it says the management of BC speaks to these employees privately to avoid distracting other employees. And then we also have sentence number 3 or sentence 3, where they also listen to difficult employees but do not agree with them. So now lastly, we have sentence 4, where we say BOA Communications provides guidelines on how employees can improve their behavior. Okay, right. So now let's check 3.5.1, what it has in store for us. So now quote 2 ways in which BC deals with difficult employees in the workplace. Remember, the moment you come across this word that says code, you are expected to take a sentence exactly the way it appears on a given set of scenario. So now we are going to take 2 sentences, which are sentence 2 and sentence 3. Remember, grade 12, whenever you yourself, you don't write S1, S3, but you write the sentence exactly the way it appears in a scenario full of it. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.5.2. Discuss other ways in which BC can deal with difficult employees in the workplace. So now, how can this BC deal with difficult employees at the workplace? So business should attack a problem, not a person. And also businesses should look at the past positions to the underlying interest. So we are saying that businesses should attack a problem, not a person. Okay, right. So now the second one, we are saying that businesses should look at the past decisions to the underlying businesses should check past positions to the underlying interests. Okay, right, grade 12. So now we are saying that in order for businesses to deal with difficult employees, they should attack a problem, not a person. And also businesses should look at the past positions to the underlying interest. Okay, right. So now let's move on to 3.6. So now 3.6 reads as follows. Explain the ways in which businesses can create an environment that stimulates creative thinking in the workplace. Okay, so now for businesses to create an environment that stimulates creative thinking at the workplace, they should always encourage alternative ways of working, and also they must encourage staff members to come up with a different set of new ideas. Okay, right. So now we're saying that Businesses saying that businesses should encourage ways of working. Businesses should encourage ways of working, and also businesses should encourage staff members come up with a different set of new ideas, to come up with a different set of new ideas. Okay, right, great talks. So now we're saying that businesses should encourage ways of working to its employees, and also businesses should encourage staff members to come up with a different set of new ideas. Okay, right, great talks. So now let's move on to 3.7. 3.7 reads as follows: discuss the advantages of the Delphi technique in solving complex business problems. So now, under this, remember, experts are the ones that are normally been invited to solve the problem. So businesses may use a group of experts without bringing them together. And also, information received from experts can be used to solve complex business problems. We are saying that businesses may use a group of experts without bringing them together. And also, we are saying that information received from experts can be used to solve complex business problems. Okay, so now let's move on to 3.8. So now, recommend ways in which businesses could protect the environment and human health in the workplace. So now one of the ways is that machines should be serviced or maintained regularly. Also, educate staff members about the hygiene issues and encourage regular health checks. Also, minimize pollution by reusing or reducing recycling. Okay, we're saying that machines should be serviced. Or maintained regularly. And again, we are saying that educate staff members, about hygiene, issues, and encourage regular checks in health issues. Then lastly, we're saying that minimize pollution by reusing or rejuicing and recycling. Okay, right, grade 12. So now we're saying that ways in which businesses could protect the environment and human health in the workplace, machinery should be serviced or maintained regularly. Also educate staff members about hygiene issues and encourage regular checks in health issues. Also minimize pollution by reusing or reducing and recycling as well. Okay, right, grade 12. So in this regard, we are done with our question 3. Let's now jump on to question 4. So now moving on to question 4, still remember the expectation is to spend 70 minutes in section B. It means that for each and every question in section B, are you expected to spend a maximum of 35 minutes? Maximum of 35 minutes. So it means also overall it's 70 minutes. Sorry. Okay. So now let's move on to question 4. So question 4 is in line with miscellaneous topics. So now business ventures and business roles. So now let's check what question 4 has in store for us. So 4.1 outline 2 characteristics of a partnership. So now profit under partnership is shared according to partnership agreement, and also no legal requirements regarding the name of the business. We are saying that under partnership, profits are shared according to the partnership agreement. Okay, right. So now the next one, we are saying that no legal requirements regarding legal requirements regarding the name of the business. Okay, right, grade 12. So now we're saying that 2 characteristics under partnership, they are as follow. Profits are shared according to the partnership agreement, and also no legal requirements regarding the nature of regarding the name of the business. Okay, right, great thoughts. So now let's move on to 4.2, which reads as follow. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Calvin Supermarket, which is Sears. So now the owner of Calvin Supermarket insured the business property for 600,000 with KBY property insurance. So now the market value of the property was 900,000. Then a section of the property was damaged by strong storms, costing an amount of 30,000 repairs or for repairs. So now that is the amount of damage, or that is the amount of loss. Okay, right. So now 4.2.1 reads as follows. Name the insurance clause that applies to CS in the scenario above. So now the clause that applies here is under insurance. This is under insurance. So now let's move on to 4.2.2. Calculate the amount that KBY property insurers will pay CS to cover damages. Then show all the calculations. So now if you still remember, in order to calculate the clause, then we have to check what we have to check. We have to check the amount insured divided by the value of insured item, and then multiply by the amount of damage or loss. We are saying that amount insured divided by value of insured item, value of insured item, then everything multiplied by amount of loss. Okay, right. So now in this regard, so now if you check, we have 600,000 as what? 600,000 as the amount insured. So now we are saying that you are going to say, okay, we have 600,000 divided by 900,000 multiplied by 30,000. So our appropriate answer is going to be 20,000. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is 4.3. So 4.3 reads as follows. Explain how management can contribute to the success and or failure of a public company. So now let's check the success side. So now success side, managed at least by one competent, highly skilled director can take the business to the greater heights of making a lot of profits. But now in terms of faults or failure, large management structure can result in decision making taking time. Okay, right. So now we are saying that on the side of success, then we are saying that managed at least by one person or by one competent highly skilled director. So now let's check failure. Large management structure. Large management structure can result in decision making. taking time. Okay, right, Kratos. So now we are done with question 4.3. So now question 4.3 reads as follows. Explain how management can contribute to the success and or failure of the public company. So we are saying on the success side, managed at least by one competent, highly skilled director. So now failure can result where now large management structure can actually result in decision making that is going to take a longer period of time. So now let's check 4.1. It says suggest situations in which the autocratic leadership style can be applied in the workforce. Remember, this type of leadership style is where a manager actually only gives out a command. So now this can actually be applicable when employees are not fully trained, and also when dealing with employees who are not cooperative. Okay, right. We are saying that when employees are not fully trained, are not fully trained, and also when dealing with employees who are not cooperative. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next question, which is in line with our business roles. So now this question reads as follows: name two what corporate social investment focus area. So now what corporate social investment focus areas include community, employees, environment, rural development, and the likes. Okay, we are saying that here we have the likes of community, then we have employees, then we have environment, we have communities, we have environment, then we also have rural development, Okay, right, great tops. So now let's move on to the next question, which is 4.3. Outline ways in which businesses could promote social rights in the workplace. So now businesses can actually promote social rights in the workplace by providing recreational facilities for employees, also allow flexible working hours to enhance productivity. You're saying that this can be applicable when a business provides recreational facilities for employees and also allow flexible working hours, flexible working hours, flexible working hours to enhance productivity. To enhance productivity. Okay, right, grade 12s. So now we're saying that for businesses, ways in which businesses could promote social rights in the workplace is by providing recreational facilities for employees, and as well as also to allow flexible working hours to enhance productivity in the workplace. Okay, right. So now let's check 4.7. 4.7 reads as follows. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Bonga Printers Limited. So now Bonga Printers Limited offers affordable printing services at various outlets. So the employees of Bonga Printers Limited always take long lunch breaks, resulting in a decrease in productivity. So now let's check 4.7.1. It reads as follows. Name the unprofessional business practice that is applicable to the scenario above. So now this is nothing but abuse of work time, where it comes from second sentence. So this is abuse of work time. Abuse of work time. Okay, right. So now let's check 4.7.2. Discuss the ways in which professional and responsible, ethical, and effective business practices should be conducted. So now, under this regard, so mission statement should include the values of equality. And also, businesses should plan properly and put preventative measures in place. And also, the business should treat workers with respect by recognizing work well done. Okay, we are saying that mission statement should include values of equality, and also we are saying that plan properly and put preventative measures in place. And lastly, saying that treat workers with respect by recognizing work done. Okay. So now let's move on to 4.8. So now 4.8 reads as follows. Advise businesses on the steps used in handling conflict in the workplace. So now one of the steps is to identify a problem and find out the sources of the conflict. So also give both sides a voice, also work through the differences as well as identifying a solution. Saying that, identify the problem, find sources of conflict, give both sides a voice, and also work through the differences and identify a solution. Okay, so now it's saying that identify the problem, find sources of conflict, give both sides a voice, also work through the differences, as well as now identifying a solution. Okay, so now right, grade 12. So we are done with question 4. Let's quickly jump on to question, section C. So now section C, we actually given 2 questions, and the expectation is to answer only one question. Okay, right. So now if we check the structure of our business studies paper is very simple. Whatsoever the bullets that you are given, they form part of your body. So now what you must do, you must only come with introduction, then also you come up with conclusion. Okay, right. So now this introduction carries 2 marks. So now also the conclusion carries 2 marks. So now the expectation in this regard is to actually under introduction you define a word security, or you define a word shares. So now when we define a word shares, we're saying that shares give investors the opportunity to obtain a part of ownership of a business. So that is why we're saying that whenever you have shares in a particular business, it means that you don't own the whole business, but you are only owning the part of that particular business. Okay, right. So now let's check the first bullet after our introduction. So now here, remember, we just said you define shares that I just defined for you, saying that when you talk of these shares, we are saying that shares give investors the opportunity to obtain a part ownership of a business. So now let's check or outline the rights of preference shareholders. So now remember, we have different classification or different types of shareholding. So now these preference shareholders, they are the ones that are mostly preferred. That is why they are entitled with a word preference. So now why are they mostly preferred more than other shareholders? It is because whatsoever the amount that they have contributed in the business is a lot of money than other shareholders. So now when it comes to this shareholding, the fact that they have contributed a lot of money, when it comes to the receivement of the dividends by the end of the accounting period, they get their fixed returns. They get their fixed returns. The returns are not negotiable like ordinary shareholding, because ordinary shareholding, they only get their dividends whenever the business has actually made profits. Okay, right. So now let's check the differences between simple interest and compound interest. Under simple interest, the principal amount remains the same over the entire period of investment. But when it comes to compound interest, the principal amount grows with the addition of interest. Surely we are together here, grade 12. I'll come again. I'm saying that under simple interest, the principal amount remains the same over the entire period of investment. But when it comes to compound interest, the principal amount grows with the addition of interest. Remember this principal amount that we're actually referring to. We are referring to the amount that you took from the from banks or from the financial providers as a loan. Okay, right. So now let's check bullet number 3, where you are expected to discuss the following types of investment opportunities and their risk vectors. Okay, right. So now let's check how best we can discuss mutual funds or stock firm. When you talk of mutual funds or stock firm, this is the platform where informal savings scheme in which small group of people normally contribute. So now we have small amount of people who contribute in this particular type of informal saving scheme. But now when it comes to the debentures, it's where now there are some issuing to raise borrowed capital from the public. So it means that now it is issued to raise borrowed capital from the public. Okay, right. So now let's check how best we can advise investors on the impact of government or Republic of South African retail savings bonds as a form of investment. So now under this particular type of investment, one of the impacts is that interest can be received twice a year. And also interest is higher than other fixed deposit. So that is why in most cases you see there are a lot of people are flocking in for this particular type of investment. Then it is actually being provided by the government. So now if you still remember, I told you that most people flock in this one because interest can be received twice a year. Also, interest that is being received in this particular type of investment, it seems to be higher than other fixed deposit. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the conclusion. So if you still remember, Kratos, when you conclude, you should conclude using your own opinion. You shouldn't conclude using the points that you have used in your arguments in a body part or the introduction. So now let's conclude. For South African government or South African economy to grow, it means that there should be a lot of people who engage into a South African retail savings bond because they will be enjoying interest twice in a row or in a year. Okay, right. So now let's move on to question 6. So now question 6 reads as follows. Businesses are expected to develop corporate social responsibility programs and corporate social investment projects to address some socioeconomic issues such as HIV or AIDS and unemployment. So now they are also required to contribute time and effort in improving the well-being of their employees. Okay, right. So now write an essay on corporate social responsibility and corporate social investment in which you include the following aspect. So now if you still remember grade 12, so the moment you are given this bullets and business studies structure of essay, it means that these are what are our body points. So remember, in our body, you should always write the subheading of each and every question. So what you must actually do here is to come up with the introduction, then also conclusion. So now remember, under our introduction, we are working for 2 marks. Also conclusion, we are working for 2 marks. Okay, right. So now under introduction, you should define our social responsibility. So now social responsibility in this regard can be considered as an ethical viewpoint that says every individual or business has an obligation to benefit society as a whole. So that is our introduction and 2 marks for that. I'll come again. So we're saying that our introduction reads as follows. An ethical viewpoint that says every individual or business has an obligation to benefit society as a whole, not some particular individuals. Okay, right. So now, grade 12. So now let's check our corporate social responsibility and corporate social investment difference. Okay, right. So now, when we talk of our corporate social responsibility, this is the way a business conducts its operation ethically and morally regarding the use of human, physical, and financial resources. I'll come again. So we're saying that corporate social responsibility is nothing but the way a business conducts its operation ethically and morally regarding the use of human, physical, and financial resources. Okay, right. So now let's move on to corporate social investment. So now corporate social investment is when investment of our corporate funds or other assets for the primary purpose of achieving social outcomes. I'll come again, grade 12. We are saying that under corporate social investment is where investment of corporate funds or other assets for the primary purpose of achieving a social outcome. Okay, right. So now let's move on to the next bullet, which is discuss the impact of corporate social investment on businesses. So now corporate social investment on businesses can actually help businesses to generate a lot of profits, and also it can keep businesses in operation for a longer period of time. So it means that it can actually bring sustainability in a business, and as well as bringing a morale and high motivation towards our employees, so that they can actually improve their productivity. Okay, right. So now let's actually move on to the next bullet, which is explain ways in which businesses could deal with HIV or AIDS and unemployment and socioeconomic issues. Okay, right. So now, grade 12, when it comes to HIV and AIDS at the workplace, in order for discrimination to be minimal, because if you still remember, Employment Equity Act says no to discrimination to anyone at the workplace, regardless or in line with age, in line with gender, in line with language and other aspects. And also, if you can actually take into account that South Africa is a very diverse country that takes into account each and every aspect that prevent harmonious working relationship between the employees and the employer. So for businesses to deal with HIV and AIDS at the workplace, training program should be offered to the employees so that employees can actually know how to handle or deal with someone at the workplace who's having HIV or AIDS. And also in the same manner, there should be some testing part at the workplace where employees can easily go there and do their tests at any time convenient to them. And also businesses should make sure that they liaise or partner or work with institutions or organizations that are fully operating towards HIV and AIDS. Okay, right. So now grade 12, let's move on to let's move on to the last bullet and this question where it says recommend ways in which businesses could contribute time and effort into improving the well-being of employees. In order for businesses to improve the well-being of the employees, they should always offer annual medical assessment to their workers. Always offer annual medical assessment to their workers, and also they must provide recreational facilities to their workers. Why should they do that? Because the moment they do that, it will actually promote their efforts, and also it actually what saves time in terms of production of goods and services. So it means in this regard, even efficiency is going to easily be achieved. And also businesses should make sure that they revise their objectives time and again with the employees, because the moment employees are aware of the objectives of the business, and they are also aware of the vision of the business, and also they are aware of the mission statement of the business, they'll make sure that they don't go beyond the boundaries of what they're supposed to do in that regard. Okay, right. So now, grade 12s, now as we speak, we have landed on our conclusion. So now remember, conclusion is where now you are expected not to repeat whatsoever information or the points that you have included in your body part. So now in conclusion, you can actually say that for businesses to grow in South Africa, it means that they should pay much attention towards the personal development of their employees, so that productivity in the workplace can actually increase. So as a result, a business will be successful. So now, grade 12s, at this juncture, I would love to say thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed a lesson. So now let's meet again in one.